Yes, it's Charlie Danger, private detective. Charlie Danger, defender of the Constitution. And now, Charlie Danger, private detective.
The journey to Sedona had proved to be much less hazardous than I had anticipated. When we got to Tombstone, we had a pizza and a stagecoach to Tucson. From there, we hopped a cab to Phoenix. Once in Phoenix, we went to a used car lot where we bought a maroon '86 Ford E150 custom van. After that, it was an hour drive north on I-17. Sedona, Arizona is a scenic little town surrounded by red rock buttes and mesas, located right smack in the middle of the state. The airport sits on top of what's known as Airport Mesa. We drove up, parked the van near the quaint little terminal building, and then followed Phleye out to a row of old hangars.
It's been a while since I parked this old bird in here. Will you get a load of this?
He unlocked the door and stepped inside the dark building. The old man hit a light switch. It was a great big Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress in olive drab color with the words Phleye's Flyer and a naked broad by Alberto Vegas painted on the nose.
Incredible!
Is this machine operational?
This thing was plucked right out of combat service in 1945. It's the only fully functional, fully armed, and fully original example in the entire world.
Then, gentlemen, we need to consider our options. Being in possession of a fully functional weapon such as this gives us the tool we need to strike a blow against Mariachi. That's it. We all hop aboard this airplane and go bomb Mariachi? Precisely. Is it not the least thing that they would expect us to do? And where do we go to accomplish that? We don't even know where to find Mariachi. Elementary, my dear Danger. I would suggest that we return to the area where we were attacked by the Mexican Messerschmitt. Consider this. You see, that aeroplane had been dispatched to shoot us down because we had been flying too close to Mariachi's new command bunker. I'm sure that we can pinpoint its location and provide them all with a bit of unscheduled entertainment in the form of a thrilling display of aerial bombardment.
Holmes is right. If we want to strike a blow against those dirty crooks, we've got no other choice.
All right then, baby. It looks like we've got ourselves a hot date for tomorrow. And I do mean hot.
How hot do you like it, Charlie?
Sure, it all sounded crazy, and maybe it was. But sometimes when your back is up against a wall and everything seems lost and hopeless, that's when you buck up and do what you gotta do to get the job done. It was certainly no time to sit back and let a gang of traitorous criminals make monkeys out of every single red-blooded American citizen in the country. We all marveled at that great big warbird sitting there with its turrets and its machine guns and its 4 big radial engines and its 8,000-pound bomb load. If you wanted to blow up a secret command bunker, it was just what the doctor ordered.
It's a risky plan, but if we manage to pull this off, we can blow the lid off this caper and send their NAU plans back to the drawing boards.
It'd serve the dirty bastards right.
If you people are done flapping your jaws, you might just want to help me get this bird dusted off. And then we'll get her checked out. And then we'll fire them engines up, and then we'll be ready to go.
The place was huge. All of the distinguished guests commented among themselves about how huge and complex was the control room. They marveled at the gigantic monitor screens, the huge round conference table, the high-tech computers and electronics. It was just like the set from Dr. Strangelove. It had been quite a day for the visitors. First, there had been a buffet-style gourmet breakfast in the cafeteria. Afterwards, in the Grand Theater, the guests were treated to a special film entitled The Eradication of the Proletariat. There was a brisk question-and-answer session afterwards, and then following that, there was wine and hors d'oeuvres back in the cafeteria. Finally, everyone had gathered in the control room to await Mariachi's special presentation. The murmur of the crowd faded away as the lights were dimmed down low. A single white spotlight beam shined down on a podium in the center of the room. There was the sound of footsteps in the darkness, and then suddenly the professor stepped up to the podium and into the light.
Welcome to my command bunker. Having been entrusted with the responsibility for overseeing the NAU program, I soon found myself having to rely upon incompetent bunglers who could never properly follow my orders and always had an excuse for their failures.
The room was as silent as a tomb.
Therefore, I decided to take matters into my own hands, so to speak. I had this command complex constructed with my own funds. From this control room, I can monitor, coordinate, and direct all of the various elements of the NAU program.
Suddenly, one of the giant monitors came to life with a towering map of the North American continent. The United States was in blue, Canada was in pink, and Mexico was a lovely shade of chartreuse.
No. There is much more that can be done,
said the professor. Another giant monitor sprang to life with a similar map of the continent, except that this one was completely yellow and had a smiley face in the middle.
The ultimate goal is North American Union. Therefore, I have devised my own plan to ensure its success. I now have the means to guarantee the success of the NAU program. I shall now unveil to you the super weapon which will ultimately destroy the United States.
Suddenly, the whirring of motors could be heard as a giant ray gun device descended from the ceiling. A murmur drifted over the crowd.
I have devised the Mark V disintegration weapon.
Another murmur drifted over the crowd.
Shut up until I am finished.
Motors whirred again as the weapon slowly turned until it pointed at the bulk of the audience. Mariachi continued.
2 of these weapons are orbiting the planet as I speak. Our friends in China launched them 2 weeks ago under my direction. Yes, and I control them from this control room. You see, and in 48 hours, when they are strategically in place over the United States, I shall completely disintegrate the borders once and for all. Shut up until I am finished. I'm not only referring to the northern and southern borders. No. I am talking about the state borders as well. Yes. You won't be able to tell where one state begins and another one ends. Do you see? And not only states, but also counties and cities and towns and even the lots that your house sits on. I shall disintegrate all of the borders in America. You see, I shall plunge the entire country into utter chaos. Nothing will prevent North American Union.
Eyes bulged, mouths dropped open.
But I will not stop there. No. There are those who would pay dearly for me to turn this weapon on any number of countries all over the planet. Yes, you see, I shall disintegrate every border in the world. Nothing will prevent world government. Nothing will prevent the new world order. And we shall reign over the entire world. The entire world, I say.
The professor's hand slammed down on a flashing red button. There was an intense, blinding, lightning bolt of light. Afterwards, when eyes could see again, half of the audience had vanished into thin air.
Stupid fools! You stupid fools!
As the 4 Wright cyclones roared to life and the entire airplane shook with vibration, I sat in the co-pilot's seat and watched as Phleye turned knobs, flipped switches, threw levers, waking the big old bomber from its long slumber.
After making all of his checks and readings, he upped the throttles and taxied the airplane out to the edge of the runway.
Everybody ready?
He asked.
Mr. Holmes, are you ready for takeoff?
Holmes here. The radio compartment is prepared for takeoff.
All set. Me and the pooch have the best seat in the house.
Then hold on, 'cause away we go.
The engines roared as the huge airplane began its charge down the runway. The noise was deafening, and just as the speed increased, so too did the shaking, rattling, and vibration. And then, all of a sudden, everything smoothed out, and we were in the air. Phleye looked over at me with a big smile on his face.
They don't make 'em like this anymore.
He put the plane in a gentle left bank as we climbed higher and higher over the red rock countryside. Personally, I missed the Goonie bird, but that's just me. Besides, this was all-out war, and this bird could lay eggs with TNT in 'em. You know, the day that Jane first came waltzing into my office back in the Big Apple, I had no idea where this caper was gonna lead. I never dreamed I'd be sitting in a B-17 flying out to bombard some raving lunatic held up in a bunker. Phleye tapped me on the shoulder.
I want you guys to be ready for anything. Once they see us coming along, we don't know what the hell they're gonna throw at us.
You just worry about flying the plane. Leave all the firepower to us. We climbed up through a layer of clouds, and Phleye leveled out the airplane.
It won't be long till we get to where the Goonie bird went down. It's vital that we locate that bunker.
What remained of the audience had left the control room and were making a mad dash for their cars. A red telephone flashed, and the professor picked up the receiver.
This is Professor Mariachi here.
Sir, radar has picked up an inbound aircraft. It is 12 miles out and closing.
Put it on the big screen.
Instantly, one of the gigantic monitors flashed the image of the radar screen. A white blip designated the position of the incoming airplane.
Sound the alert. Send up my interceptors. I want an ID on that airplane, and I want pictures on the big screen.
Suddenly, alarms sounded all over the complex. Men ran, stumbled, and got up and ran again to their battle stations. The anti-aircraft batteries were manned and readied as pilots threw down their tacos and jumped into their Messerschmitts. Within minutes, they were in the air, engines straining for speed and altitude. Higher and higher they raced toward the incoming threat, fearing not bullets, not battle, but their own leader's price for failure of any kind. Meanwhile, back in the control room, Professor Mariachi paced back and forth, waiting impatiently for their report. The blip on the giant screen was inching closer and closer.
We expect a report momentarily.
The voice on the phone line exuded nervous tension.
I am waiting. Suddenly, 6 slightly smaller blimps appeared on the screen, closing in fast on the first.
I am waiting. Sir, we have that report coming in now. The aircraft has been identified as a 4-engine propeller-driven bomber of Second World War vintage. We have visual coming in now.
In a flash, real-time images of the approaching bomber appeared on the big screen. Mariachi couldn't believe his eyes.
No, it couldn't be. It's that pain in the ass Charlie Danger and my arch-enemy Shurelock Holmes. How dare they interrupt me when my hour of glory is so close at hand? No. This is totally unacceptable. I will not stand for this. Our planes are awaiting orders, sir. Shall I send them the go-ahead signal? Shoot them down! Do you hear? Shoot them down, I say! Destroy them! Kill them! Do I make myself clear? I want them dead! Dead! Dead!
Jane, up in the nose compartment, was the first one to see them and call them out.
6 Mexican Messerschmitts at 2 o'clock.
I looked, and sure enough, there they were, charging right at us with their machine guns and cannons spitting fire.
The show's on now. Everybody grab a gun and start dishing it out.
I jumped up and made a beeline for the dorsal turret, and I climbed up inside. I swung it around, pointed the twin 50s at our attackers, and then I let them have it. Smoke and fire belched forth, and tracers arced out towards the enemy. Suddenly, I felt the airplane shudder as machine gun and cannon fire from the charging fighters tore into her. I kept on firing and clearly scored hits on one of them. And then they zoomed by and started banking around for another charge. But I could see that one of them was hit and trailing smoke. Then I heard Jane's voice over the intercom.
Hey, Willie, I can see the Goonie bird down there.
Sure enough, we all looked down, and there was the wreck of the Goonie bird right where we had left it.
Got it. Now we start looking for signs of that bunker.
Well, don't look now. Here they come again.
Sure enough, 3 were coming in from one side and 2 from the other.
Come and get it, baby. Take that. And that. And that.
I swung around and let her rip on the 3 to my right. I could see tracers arcing out from our waist gun, and I knew that Holmes was on the job. He scored hits, too, and one of the Messerschmitts exploded in midair.
I got one. Well, get more.
I just kept firing at him, hoping the guns wouldn't lock up. Suddenly, I felt the plane shudder again as bullets started smashing through the fuselage. As they zoomed by, one of them burst into flames, and I saw the pilot bail out. 2 more zoomed past in the other direction, one of them with a shut-up engine trailing smoke, and I knew Jane was keeping busy up front.
Does anyone see any signs of the bunker?
How about a parking lot full of limousines and a gigantic banner that reads Grand Opening?
Or the dozens of anti-aircraft batteries that are about to open fire on us?
Well, guys, I'd say we pretty well found the command bunker.
All right, then. I'm gonna line us up for the bombing run. Keep those fighters busy.
Sure enough, the remaining 2 Mexican Messerschmitts were coming in. This time, one came in from behind, and the other came at us straight on. Quick! I'm moving to the tail gun! I swung around and started lobbing tracers at the one coming straight on, and I could see tracers streaming out from Jane on the chin gun.
Take that! And that! And that!
We both laid it on him, and we laid it on thick.
Come and get it, baby!
And then suddenly bullets and cannon shells were ripping into us, chewing up the cockpit, trailing across the wing and knocking out both starboard engines. The airplane seemed to stagger as smoke and flames erupted from the engines and the wing caught on fire. The Mexican plane shot by, but it was completely enveloped in flames. And then the other one shot by from the opposite direction. It too was enveloped in flames, thanks to Holmes. We watched as both planes arced downwards in their final plunge to the ground. And then, as if we weren't having enough of problems, the anti-aircraft gun started firing. Violent, jarring explosions started going off all around us. Phleye strained to control the airplane.
We're nearly over the target. Danger! Come here and hold her steady while I man the bomb sight.
In a flash, he jumped out and I jumped into the pilot's seat. I grabbed the controls as Phleye climbed up in the nose. It wasn't easy keeping that bird level with flak going off and the wing on fire. Meanwhile, Phleye lined up the bomb sight. He made his countdown and pulled the bomb release handle. Nothing happened. The bombs failed to drop. I'm losing control of this airplane. Holmes suddenly appeared from out of nowhere. The doors are open, but the bombs have failed to release. Where is the emergency bomb release?
The red lever marked emergency.
Holmes darted back to the bomb bay as I strained to keep the airplane flying straight and level. All I knew was she wanted to go down and was fighting me all the way. And then suddenly, Phleye was in the co-pilot seat, and we were both straining to keep her up. Meanwhile, Holmes managed to locate the emergency bomb release. He gave it a mighty pull, but nothing happened. He pulled it again and again, but the bombs remained.
Loosen the safety pin on the bomb rack. But be careful! Be careful!
Holmes climbed up, over the open bomb bay doors. Looking down, he could see Mariachi's command bunker dead ahead below. Straddling a 500-pound bomb, he reached up and began loosening the safety pin. At last, Phleye and I couldn't hold her any longer, and the big bird started to slip out of control. We're going down! At that same moment, the bombs broke free, and they began their descent toward their target. I saw them going down as we went into a nose-down left bank. I also saw Shurelock Homes falling away with them.
It's Holmes. He went down with the bombs.
There was a loud tearing and a grinding sound, and the burning wings separated from the rest of the airplane. I felt the big bird collapse.
That's it. She's done for. Everybody out. Let's hit the silk.
I grabbed hold of Jane, and Phleye grabbed hold of Lassie, and the next thing I knew, we were tumbling through the atmosphere. Our chutes opened up, and we started to drift. I looked down and saw the bombs heading straight for the bunker. I watched Mariachi's entire bunker complex explode in several gigantic eruptions. And then one great big monstrous blast. Nothing could have survived that inferno. Afterwards, fire and billowing clouds of smoke were all that could be seen. We drifted downward about a mile before we touched down on the ground, about 30 yards away from the wreck of the Goonie bird. We just sat there, exhausted, watching the smoke rise and the sun go down.
Yes, you've been listening to Charlie Danger, Private Detective. Tune in next time for the next exciting episode of Charlie Danger, Private Detective.